Hello, fellow YouTubers. Recently I bought a Chinese copy of Apple 30-pin cable, and immediately I understood that it charges iPad very slowly. Then I started to think what is problem. Is it the cable itself, or is it software problem? Easiest would be just Google it and find out why is difference in charging, but it's not so much fun. So I want to do my little of my investigation my own. So first I want to measure with multimeter how much is difference in power draw between the original Apple cable. That cable is already torn up near the connector. What is a usual problem? Why you need a new cable? And then I want to destroy both of cables, original Apple cable and the copy, Chinese copy of the Apple cable, and see if it is inside difference between two cables. Firstly, I will measure how much iPad 10 watt charger will draw power when the iPad is not connected. So it's jumping back and forth, but it shows about 0.35 milliamps. So it's very little. So 35 milliamps, and we have 227 volts here. I measured it earlier, so it draws like 0.08 watts, so it's very little. Now let's see how much power draws iPad Apple original cable when it's connected to iPad. iPad is about half charged, so probably it will draw the maximum power. So it shows about 40 milliamps. So 40 milliamps and 207 volts, and it's about 9 watts. And the charger is rated at 10 watts. Now let's see how much with Chinese cable is power draw. And the difference is very big. It's drawing right now 14.5 milliamps. So 0.014 5 and 227 volts, and it's a little bit 3.3 watts, so it's much lower than Apple original cable. Now let's see how much is difference with iPhone. Right now it's connected to Apple original cable, and it draws about 24 milliamps. So it's 0.024 and 227 volts, and it's 5.5, about 5.5 watts. And iPhone is at 59%. Now the Chinese copy, and it's drawing about 16.5 milliamps. So sorry, about 0.60 and 227 volts, and it's 3.7 watts. So it's not 2.5 times. With iPad it was like 3 times difference, so it isn't the same difference. Now we can proceed destroying with cables, but I think it will be not so easy. Maybe the simplest is to cut this layer and see how many wires are inside, and then start to destroy this cable ends and see what is inside here. Somehow I don't believe that it is some kind of chip or electronics here inside, but we will see soon. So first I will see how many wires are in the original cable and how many wires in the Chinese copy. And results are already amazing. Let's see the Apple original cable. The outside is very condensed, or how to say, wire mesh. Under the wire mesh is aluminum foil outside, and inside is this blue insulated layer. So it's two layers, like aluminum and insulated. So I think it would be called like two ecranizations, that this wire mesh, which is very well and very thick and very well done, and also this aluminum layer and insulation inside additionally. And there is 3 wires what are insulated: red, white and green. The red wire, I don't know if it is possible to see, but the red wire is actually more thick than the green and white. And there are additionally 3 uninsulated wires, and the yellow one that's doesn't conduct electricity. Maybe it's for the strength in the cable. So the cable itself, the Apple cable, is very thin actually, and it's very well done. And if we compare it to the Chinese copy, there is a huge difference. Now the Chinese cable, the outside ecranization is only 1 layer, it's aluminum foil, and it's vice versa. The outside is non-conducting and inside layer is conducting. So the Apple cable was differently. The outside was conducting and inside was insulated. The wires. Basically, wires are a little bit thicker than that the red cable was in the Apple original, and there is an additional insulated wire that doesn't exist in the Apple cable, the black one. And plus there is no difference in the red cable thickness and white and green cable thickness as it was in the Apple product. Plus we don't know, we haven't measured what is difference in the insulation thickness and wire itself inside, because sometimes you look that cable is thick outside, but actually inside is maybe even smaller than the other cable that looks like smaller. And if you compare it side by side, maybe the outside diameter of the red cable is almost the same as in Chinese, but inside we don't know what it is exactly. So Chinese cable it's huge difference, and I think the Apple software can detect it, is it original or not, by already this construction that is so different, that Apple cable already understands with software that it's not original cable. So, but we will see what is inside of connectors. Is there some kind of difference or not? Apple original cable endings. So you can see already that it is very well made, and it was quite hard to break off the plastic. So let's see the USB end. It's like the rubber is molded in, so it's like one unit. So it's very well. I think even if you break off this plastic, it will work anyway. And it's very hard to see, but you can see that, like I saw that this synchronization outer layer is soldered to this metal part. I will break on and see what is inside afterwards. Chinese cable. It's very basic. It's not comparable with Apple original one. It doesn't have that kind of insulation or sophistication to the cable. And what is amazing that you can see the wires are connected, but the synchronization doesn't lead anywhere, so it doesn't connect to the metal part on this USB side, and also same with 30 pin side. So basically I would say it's bullshit. It's not a copy. It's just they have done like minimum thing what is possible. Next layer of Apple original cable, and I'm amazed more and more how sophisticated it is actually. So this part the Chinese cable didn't have, so it's like metal part, and the synchronization was peeled back, and there was copper insert what was pressed against this outside, so it's very good connection. And the layers doesn't end here, because the wires are actually in the next layer of insulation. So it's not this rubber or this what we peeled off, so it's a next layer. And same with 30 pin connector. It is next layer of the insulation. And plus we had some additional insulation, this yellow one. So I don't know if I try to get out this layer, maybe the wires will break and we will not see exactly inside. I think the USB end is visible through this, and the wires connect, and these uninsulated wires connect separately to the one pin. These 3 uninsulated wires that the Chinese cable didn't basically have. They had like one black wire for them, and it was insulated. So I will try to break more in the 30 pin cable. You can see circuit board, but I think it is just for the connections and not for some electronics, but I have to take it more apart and see if something is inside this. More of destruction of Apple original 30-pin cable, and 30-pin end I basically destroyed it, but there was no electronics inside, and this yellow insulation is just extra caution that any connection is not made with metal parts before it is poured in this insulation silicone. It looks like it is silicone, I don't know, maybe it's some kind of plastic. And it's very well done. Its synchronization is very well connected to the metal part. It's exceptionally well done, this cable, and it doesn't bear comparison with Chinese cable. Chinese cable is basically worthless. To sum it up, it was quite fun to destroy something, and but the results amazed me, because I didn't thought that the difference is that big. Basically, the Chinese cable, maybe there are better cables, but it's basically like I would give like 1 point, and for this sophistication and manufacturing quality and something like it's not a copy. It's like 1 point. You can like recharge it, and maybe you can connect it to the computer, but I don't know, maybe it gives so many errors, and you will download time will be so high or something. But I didn't try it, so I think it's so bad. I don't want to use that kind of cable anymore. And it's like this Chinese copy is like just for emergency, and if you can afford, surely buy something original better. Yeah, it costs more, but this sophistication and design, and it's well worth it for me, at least. So if you liked the video, please subscribe. No pressure, but if you like it, please subscribe. It would help. And see you in the next videos, hopefully.